Now, as far-fetched as it sounded, the rumor that somebody had actually seen body parts outside of Moninder's home, it really was more than anything else that the families had to go on. That was the only real lead that they had. And at that point, they were willing to follow up on just about anything. So on the morning of December 29th, 2006, the two fathers and S.C. Mishra decided that they were going to go check out that area for themselves, do their own little investigation. Now, in this part of Noida, the storm drains aren't like what you might be picturing. They weren't like the typical underground covered sewer systems like we have in the US, kind of, from that movie, It, with the clown, how it's like that storm drain and everything's below. That's not how it is. Instead, these drains are very long. They are like open trenches that run alongside the roads. They collect runoff, trash, food waste, and in many places, they hadn't been cleaned in months. So when the group reached the section of drain that was right outside of Moninder's house, the smell, the odor, it hit them almost immediately. The water was barely moving. There was garbage everywhere. And while there was, yes, a huge amount of trash, the odor was still very off. Something didn't quite smell like this was just your typical garbage. Even like New York City, where it's hot garbage in the street, something was stronger here. So the three men started searching right away. They leaned over the edge of this drain, scanning the surface, kind of looking for anything unusual. And after about 30 minutes, they found something. One of the fathers spotted a severed hand floating in the water. It was also partially decomposed, and it was tangled inside all of that garbage that had been collected on top of the drain. And this hand, it was very small in size. It looked like the size of a hand that belonged to a child. So this was a horrifying discovery. They stopped searching and immediately called the police, hoping that now, finally, it would be enough for them to take things seriously. And sure enough, a short time later, officers arrived. The same officers that these families had been begging for help from for years. But by the time the police got there, residents from both Noida and Nitari had all gathered around the drain, and they were all digging through the trash collectively. And while they were doing that, they found more body parts: hands, arms, skulls, bone fragments, even pieces of clothing. Which it all seems crazy, right? Because given how many children had gone missing, nobody had noticed any of this stuff before. Which, I will get into that in just a moment, don't worry. So the police roped off the area, and then they took over the search. Yet that, of course, didn't stop people from surrounding the area, watching, trying to see what else the police would uncover. The search went on for the next few days, and as time went on, the surrounding crowd just grew angrier and angrier. Most of the crowd consisted of residents from Nitari, people who knew that for the past few years, they had been telling the police about all of these missing children, constantly begging for help, asking for an investigation, telling them something was wrong and it's just was being completely ignored. So as they were witnessing the police just pulling out more and more body parts out of this drain, they just grew even more furious, wondering if all of this could have been prevented.